Welcome to this executive briefing explainer. If you're sitting in the C-suite right now, you already know the harsh truth, right? A brilliant strategy on paper means absolutely nothing if it doesn't translate to execution on the floor. So today, our goal is highly focused. We are unpacking exactly how investing in purpose-driven leadership and tactical sales training translates directly into measurable bottom-line growth. We are taking those high-level boardroom concepts and turning them into daily profitable behaviors. Okay, let's dive into this. The single greatest vulnerability in modern business is this massive, frankly perilous gap between complex organizational strategy and actual ground-level execution. Think about it. You spend months crafting these strategic directives, but how does that vision actually translate when your frontline teams interact with the market? Too often, it just gets lost. Bridging this gap isn't about sending out another corporate memo. It's about fundamentally changing how your people lead and sell. And that is exactly where our subject matter expert comes into play. Here is our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll cover bridging the strategy and execution gap. Second, we'll dive into the C.L.E.A.R success framework, which is our cultural engine. Third, we'll look at accelerating pipeline and sales. And fourth, we'll tie it all directly to measurable bottom-line growth. Section 1. Bridging strategy and execution. To understand how to actually cross this divide, we're turning to the methodology of Karen Tomlinson. She brings over 35 years of experience in leadership development to the table, and she founded KT Training Solutions to literally translate complex organizational strategies into high-impact programs that drive real, tangible behavioral change. And look, this isn't just academic theory here. Through her consulting practice, Karen has used these specific frameworks to impact well over 1,200 participants globally. That number represents individuals who have successfully taken high-level corporate mandates and actually operationalized them on the ground. It is a world-class methodology that absolutely guarantees local success. So you might be wondering, what is the actual mechanism for this behavioral shift? That brings us to Section 2, the C.L.E.A.R success framework. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this framework is the cultural engine driving the whole execution strategy. It brings renowned Maxwell leadership frameworks straight into the business landscape, operating on 5 critical pillars, and these pillars are designed to cultivate absolute professional excellence within your teams. Let's break these down real quick, starting right at the foundation. The C stands for communication, and frankly, professional excellence begins right here. If you want your bottom line to grow, you require absolute clarity on the ground. It's simple. When communication breaks down, execution halts completely. This pillar builds that absolute transparency you need so every single team member understands not just what they're doing, but exactly why they're doing it. Next up, the L is for leadership. Listen, true optimization means we have to completely abandon that outdated idea that leadership only happens in the C-suite. No way. To really drive profits, you have to empower individuals to step up and lead at every single level of the organization. Because when frontline workers adopt a true leadership mentality, they take fierce ownership of the customer experience. Moving on, the E is equipping. And honestly, here is where you start seeing a massive return on investment. You see, you can't just demand excellence from your people. You actually have to actively equip your teams with the tools, the knowledge, and the resources to reach their maximum potential. Growing your talent from within, that is infinitely more cost-effective than trying to just buy your way out of a talent deficit. Then we have the A, which stands for attitude. A strategy is only ever going to be as strong as the mindset of the people executing it, period. Fostering a growth attitude is completely non-negotiable. Because when your workforce hits inevitable market friction or faces a brutal sales quarter, it's this exact mindset that keeps them resilient, it keeps them focused on solutions, tactically executing instead of just retreating. Finally, the R represents relationships. This rounds out the sequence, but you could easily argue it is the most vital pillar for your revenue streams. Authentic connections lay the absolute crucial groundwork for all successful sales activities. Why? Because people do business with people they trust. It's that simple. Master these 5 pillars, and you've just built a culture that's primed and ready for tactical execution. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds into accelerating pipeline and sales. So once your cultural foundation is set, you absolutely must apply tactical sales execution. This is where we bridge the gap for sales leaders. We are taking those strong relationships and excellent communication skills we just talked about, and we are pointing them directly at your revenue targets like a laser. And this brilliantly illustrates the core sales activities involved. Because comprehensive sales training, it's not just about a charismatic pitch, right? It requires proactive contact activities, relationship selling, and sales management. But hear me out. The absolute core accelerator for your overall growth strategy is pipeline management. Without rigorous pipeline management, your sales process is basically just guesswork. By training leaders to accurately forecast and manage their pipeline, you turn unpredictable revenue into a reliable, highly measurable growth engine. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, driving measurable bottom-line growth. This brings our explainer to its ultimate focus. At the executive level, everything we've just discussed, from purpose-driven leadership all the way to pipeline management, has to result in tangible profitability. You're not just investing in training to boost morale. You are building a hyper-efficient, highly profitable organization. So, the crucial point is this fundamental organizational shift. The goal of merging leadership with specialized sales training is moving your teams away from basic transactional interactions. We want to transform them into builders of long-term, credible relationships. Think about it. A transactional team, they just compete on price and speed, which constantly squeezes your margins. But a relationship-driven team, they protect your margins, they generate repeat business, and they become a truly sustainable profit center. Furthermore, this shift directly elevates your customer experience, or CX. Through interactive workshops that focus on advanced service skills and professional conflict resolution, your teams learn how to expertly navigate pressure. When they can resolve a conflict and actually maintain trust through it, they are protecting your brand reputation and drastically reducing customer churn. And that directly shields your bottom line. And the proof really is in the implementation. Karen Tomlinson's programs consistently achieve excellent evaluation ratings across the board for knowledge transfer, interactivity, and creativity. For an executive like you, this means this holistic approach is delivering immediate, practical, confidence-building skills. This isn't theoretical fluff. It ensures your participants leave the room fully ready to flawlessly execute the company's strategy the very next day. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question. Take a hard look at your own organizational culture right now. Look at your frontline managers and your sales officers. Are your teams merely transactional, just processing orders and moving on to the next? Or are they actively building the long-term, credible relationships that guarantee sustainable profitability? Bridging that gap between your boardroom strategy and ground-level execution, it all starts with how you empower those teams. Thanks so much for joining me today.